Welcome, candidates. You're about to participate in the Prince George's County Fire and EMS Fire Services Abilities Assessment. This assessment is designed to evaluate your physical capabilities and readiness for the demands of the role of Firefighter 1.
Before you gear up, make sure to wear proper attire such as gym clothes and running shoes. Pants are mandatory, and all jewelry must be removed. Once it's time to begin, you will put on the weighted vest, a helmet, and a set of gloves. Event 1. Stair climb. During the first event, you will be required to walk up and down the staircase 5 times with 1 kettlebell in each hand. You must go all the way up and all the way down without skipping any steps. During the test, you are permitted to touch the handrail for balance. At the completion of your last set, place the kettlebells on the ground and the proctor will direct you to the next event. The following practices are allowed. The candidate is allowed to touch the handrail or wall for balance. The candidate is given 2 warnings for running. The candidate is given 2 warnings for skipping steps. The candidate is permitted to stop, place kettlebells on the ground, and re-establish grip. The following practices constitute a failure. The candidate receives a 3rd infraction for running or skipping steps. Candidate falls or drops a kettlebell or both kettlebells. Event 2. Ladder carry. Follow the arrows. Remove the ladder from the stand and place it on your shoulder. Follow the dotted line and walk around the cone. When you return to the stand, hang the ladder back on the brackets. The following practice is allowed. The candidate is given 2 warnings for course deviation. The candidate is given 2 warnings for running. The following practices constitute a failure. Candidate drops or drags the ladder. Candidate receives 3rd infraction for running. Event 3. Overhaul. Follow the arrows. You will push the barrel to the designated mark and back past the finish line. The following practices constitute a failure. The candidate chooses to self-eliminate. Event 4. Ladder raise and extension. Follow the arrows. Raise the ladder to the wall using each rung. When the ladder touches the building, step into the white marked box of the secured ladder. Pull the rope until the ladder stops and lower it to the ground. The following practices are allowed. The candidate is given 1 warning for missing any rung during the raise. The candidate is given 1 warning for a boundary violation during the ladder extension. The following practices constitute a failure. The candidate receives a 2nd infraction for missing any rung during the raise. The candidate allows the ladder to fall to the ground during the raise. The candidate releases their grip on the ladder and the safety lanyard activates. The candidate does not control the halyard in a hand-over-hand manner. The candidate allows the halyard to slip in an uncontrolled manner. Event 5. Rescue. Follow the arrows. Drag the mannequin by the handles on the harness, go around the drum, and back past the finish line. The following practices are allowed. The candidate receives 2 warnings for grabbing or resting on the drum. The candidate is permitted to grab either one or both handles when dragging the mannequin. The candidate is permitted to lower the mannequin to the ground to adjust their grip. The following practice constitutes a failure. The candidate receives 3rd infraction for grabbing or resting on the drum. Event 6. Search. Follow the arrows. You will crawl through a dark search maze. There will be a victim that needs to be rescued and brought out with you. If at any time and for any reason you choose to stop, call out or rap sharply on the wall or ceiling, and you will be assisted out of the search maze. The following practice is allowed. The candidate can return into the tunnel if they exit through the entrance. The following practice constitutes a failure. The candidate requests assistance from the proctor requiring the opening of an escape hatch or the entrance or exit covers. Event 7. Ceiling breach. Follow the arrows. You will place the tip of the pike pole into the triangle area and push up 20 times. You must go all the way up and down, or the proctor will call out miss, and you must repeat the repetition. The following practices are allowed. The candidate receives 1 warning for dropping the pike pole on the ground. The candidate receives 2 warnings for stepping out of bounds. The candidate is permitted to stop and to re-establish grip. The following practices constitute a failure. The candidate receives a 3rd infraction for stepping outside of the boundary marked by the testing apparatus. The candidate receives a 2nd infraction for dropping the pike pole. You will have a total of 7 minutes to complete all 7 events. Please refer any questions to your proctor before the start of your assessment.